Hey guys, Crystal Thompson here for Simon Says Stamp. Today I have the September 2019 card kit, and we have 4 cards doing a rainbow inspired looks. We are going to begin using the following products from the kit. We're going to do the 3D Textures Face Embossing Powder. We're going to be doing some heat embossing with the leaves. For our embellishments, we're going to use the included Chamel box of crayons and enamel dots. And then we're going to be using one sheet of the Vicky Bouton. And of course, we're going to be doing some white embossing with our Simon Says Stamp and Powder. I'm going to have all the products linked down in the description for you to check it out. We are going to begin by placing our pattern paper. And I have trimmed this so it's going to fit on my cardstock and it's going to be matted. So it's about 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. So look how beautiful. I ran that through my Gemini, which is a die cutting machine that you can also use to emboss. I'm going to place that cardstock over a white to create a mat. So now that my mat is done, as you can see it, we are going to begin by embellishing. So I have one of the sheets included in the Simon Says. So this is the Tim Holtz Ideology Metallic 8x8 cardstock. I have brushed it with some of the cornstarch buddy, which is going to prevent it from sticking. It kind of gets rid of all that staticness. I've stamped it using the clear embossing ink from Simon. And then we're going to be using the white embossing powder, also from Simon, and we're going to heat emboss. Once that is done, I'm going to clean off any excess. And don't worry about the cornstarch. You can clean that off with a dry paper towel and it will be just as shiny. And you will not have a ton of little speckles of stuff on it because there's no static that attached to it, and then we heat emboss it. Next, we're going to grab the Simon Says Stamp Hydrangea, and this is a very light lilac, and we're going to stamp the Thinking of You stamp set from the Look for the Rainbows clear stamp set. We're going to add foam in the back. We're going to place it off to the right center so we don't lose that gorgeous kaleidoscope of colors. Using more foam, we are going to add it to the back of the leaves that we had heat embossed and stamped and pre-cut. We are going to finish up with some embellishment, and also included in the kit we have 1 jar of the Nuvo crystal gems. These are really pretty clear gems with a little bit of an iridescent glow to them, and so this is just going to keep it really clean and give it a little bit of shimmer. And honestly, we pretty much used all the materials in the kit to create this card with very basic supplies. Alrighty, continuing on with the rainbow motif, we're going to keep it super simple. Again, using the supplies from the kit. So for this, you're going to need some black ink. You're going to need some white cardstock, foam adhesive, embellishing with the Chamel box of crayons and enamel dots. We're going to be using the large sentiment. And then let's get started. We are going to begin by placing our piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 cardstock. I have placed my stamp on the side of my Misty, and this is going to be right on the edge. And the reason I'm doing the Misty is because I want it to be a very nice and dark shade of black, and it's going to be really crisp, and it's going to show that beautiful sentiment because there is a lot of words to it. Alright, now that we have that done, we're going to set that aside, and we're going to bring a strip of the pattern paper included in the kit. So this is also that mixed media 6x8 paper. I have cut it to be the same length as our card base, which was 5 1/2. And then it's about 2 inches long, 2 inches wide, and that way it's going to serve as our edging. We're going to be using some foam tape, and then we're going to place that on the edge of this card. It's going to give it a little bit of rainbow shimmer, pretty color. However, it's not going to be overtaking it. For our embellishments, we are going to use the American Crafts Chamel box of crayons and enamel dots. We're going to use a couple stars just at the top and the bottom. And honestly, this is super easy. This is one of those cards that you can do in the car as you travel. For our third card, another rainbow-inspired card, of course. So we are going to begin with the following products from the kit. For this one, you will be using the Nuvo Crystal Gems. You use the stamp set. I have my little butterfly that's been pre-cut and colored with watercolors. And then you're going to need one of the pieces of the cardstock. So we are going to begin by stamping our sentiment. And I want to create a ombre rainbow-y motif that would match that color combination of rainbow in the bottom, since we know not all rainbows are created equal. We're going to stamp it, and you have this beautiful multicolored sentiment. We're going to add a strip of foam on the center of our card panel. Then we're going to add a strip of that same rainbow paper that we used earlier. We're going to trim the excess of it. We're going to bring another piece of cardstock that is about 1/4 of an inch bigger than what we currently have. And this is going to provide a nice matting for it. And it's going to look very clean, very nice. And we're just going to put it right in the center. And we have a frame of white cardstock. As our finishing touch, we are going to add that watercolored butterfly and then adding some of the Nouveau gems to finish it up. Last but not least, we're continuing on with the rainbow. This is a watercolor. This is a really pretty card, super easy to make. For this, you are going to need the stamps that we're going to be using, that larger floral. We're going to do some white heat embossing, and then of course you need a set of of watercolors, and to embellish, you will need the Nouveau crystal. To begin, I'm going to put all my stuff away. I have the image of the sentiment and the floral all ready to go on my MISTI. I didn't know if I was going to need to stamp twice, just because that detail on the floral is super pretty and there's a lot of little things to it. So I ended up not having to stamp it twice, but it provides a nice little area to be able to use that MISTI. We're going to come in with our white embossing powder. We're going to cover the entire image, and then we're going to heat set. We will begin watercoloring once that's been heated up and cooled off. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to speed up the watercoloring. So I wanted to keep it in a rainbow, but I totally messed up my color selections. As you saw, I've added pink next to the purple. So as I kept adding my colors, you can see you can fix your color with watercolor. I love watercolor. It's so forgiving. And as you color, you're going to see all that white embossing come to life and really just pop out. So it kind of is a watercolor resist card. And you've probably seen this technique done with ink and blender brushes, but we're going to do it with watercolors. I actually brought in a little piece of rainbow just to try to match the motif, so all of my cards would kind of match in a set if I wanted to give them all away. We are going to continue with our watercoloring, and once that's done, I'm going to come in and grab a piece of my paper towels and just really remove any excess water. Okay, once that is dry, I'm going to come in with my Tombow clear glue and the gorgeous Nouveau crystal gems, and we again are going to embellish this. I ended up using the whole little jar for the 2 videos that I did, which is about 8 cards, but these are absolutely stunning. There are no real colors except clear with a little bit of a shimmer to it, so it's a great embellishment for any cards. And that does it, guys. We did 4 cards using rainbow techniques. Super easy, using the contents of your kit. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to stay tuned. I have a ton other videos, more techniques. Be sure to click subscribe. This will really enable me to continue making these videos. And if you leave me a sweet comment below. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.